Hello, welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm joined by Lee Ryder, who's down at Villa Park. Newcastle have lost 2-0. Lee, just sum up what you saw today and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, deeply disappointing. I thought it would be a tough one for Newcastle today. Going into it, I said before, would be a point would be a good result, and unfortunately, they were nowhere near that. I mean, you cannot argue with the quality of Danny Ings' goal, but Newcastle should have defended it a lot better. It was a long throw into the box, which could have been cleared. They didn't respond well in the second half. Sort of drifted away, conceded a VAR penalty, and 2-0. It didn't look like there was any way back. They did obviously have the VAR incident themselves, which saw Wilson chopped down on the edge of the box, but VAR decided it was offside. So, yeah, I mean, Newcastle didn't have a shot on target on the day, so that says it all, really. Didn't have any threat.
Yeah, disappointing to see them not have a shot on target, as you say there. Wilson went close, put one wide, and Richie fired over. What did you make of the second goal, which was for Villa, the VAR decision, handball against Lascelles? Did you think it was harsh?
Yeah, possibly, but they've had a good look at it. They've applied the rules to it, and it's given. And after that, you have to respond. And sadly, Newcastle didn't respond. As I say, no shots on target. Questionable tactical decisions. Throwing Joe Linton on for the last 14 minutes. Ryan Fraser going on 90 minutes. I don't understand that. I would like to know more about it because I don't know what impact he can make in that time. But yeah, the fans today didn't turn on the team, didn't turn on the manager even, and many of them decided to go. I mean, they didn't walk out with 15 minutes to go, but before the end, there were large rows of empty seats, and I think actions speak louder than words. And there's a real sort of feel of apathy around the place on what should have been a day to be celebrated.
Another kind of Jekyll and Hyde performance. I mean, the first half was all right, but the second half they didn't match the level that they put in towards in the first half. Why do you think that was? Do you think Villa just had a good team talk at half time and just decided to turn up for the second 45?
I think today Villa were, looking to bounce back from their opening day defeat. They've spent a lot of money. Danny Ings' home debut, which is marked with probably one of the goals of the season already after 2 games. And I just always had a feeling they were going to be up for it. The home side and the fans, 40-odd thousand fans here today. It was very loud, and Newcastle just seemed to melt into it, melt into that atmosphere, because they had that great chance from Callum Wilson early on. Sadly, he misses it, and it's been a tough day.
A lot of people asking about the penalty that was ruled out for VAR. I mean, Callum Wilson, it was a horrendous challenge by Martinez. He got booked. He maybe could even been sent off, but then VAR ruled that Callum Wilson was actually offside. It was very tight, wasn't it, Lee? And a big blow, because if you get a penalty, then you score it. You'll hope to take the momentum into the final 20 minutes or so.
Well, it would have set up a tense finish. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, it was offside. There's no argument when you look at it. It was clearly offside, and there was no debate really. It would have been nice to set up a frantic finish, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. And big response needed now. And two home games to finish off this month. One in the League Cup, and then obviously Southampton on Saturday.
There were lots of people talking after that West Ham game that Steve Bruce didn't change it from 5 at the back. He did this time. It looked like he was playing 4 up front at one point. Do you kind of give him credit for trying, or does that show a few signs of desperation when you are, having to go 4 up front so late in the game to try and get something from it?
Well, I think we've had 2 years now of going back and forwards with 5 at the back, 4 at the back. What's best for the players? Unfortunately, we're still getting defeats like this in games that probably should be doing better in. So it's going to be interesting to see what the fallout of this is now in the next couple of games. I expect it'll be a mixed team in terms of an experimental team. Might be a few youngsters in against Burnley. They'll be resting legs, and then obviously the Southampton game now becomes crucial, doesn't it? Because they want to make sure they've got some points on the board before the national break. And yeah, as I say, it was weird because I thought there would be more of a reaction today from the fans in terms of, you know, showing that those signs of disappointment, if you like. But overall, it's been a bad day in the office, really, for Newcastle, and there's too many of them.
You're going to get off the speaker, Steve Bruce, in just a moment. But just a word on Joe Willock. Dave didn't really get a chance to show why Newcastle spent so much money on him.
Didn't look match fit, but I kind of expected that, given how long he'd played in pre-season. Didn't look match fit, but I mean, he's ended up getting nearly 90 minutes in the tank, so that'll bode well for the future.
Fantastic. And just finally, just a word on the away fans being back. It must have been nice to see them back. You know, a full allocation there. It's been a long time.
Yeah, been a long time. They made plenty of noise. They can't be blamed for this. They turned up in the numbers, but sadly, it was a day to forget for them.
Fantastic. Well, we'll let you get off, and you can head over to Chronicle Live in just a moment to read Lee's match report, his player ratings, and obviously what Steve Bruce has had to say about today's game. Bruce going back to Villa Park, not the result he would have wanted, not the performance either. As we discussed there, Newcastle kind of on top in that first half. Callum Wilson going close, probably should have scored, but he put it wide. And then Danny Ings scored an absolute wonder goal. This is one you really have to catch a match of the day later. I mean, great goal, but questions over why. It came from a throw-in. The ball was then put into the box. And the questions of why Danny Ings was allowed the time and space to score what was a fantastic bicycle kick. Brilliant goal, but very disappointing to see that it wasn't stopped by the defence. And Newcastle then just kind of didn't show up really in the second half. As Lee mentioned, there are no shots on target throughout the whole game. Very disappointing. It probably re-emphasises the fact that there's a big reliance on the likes of St. Maximin, Wilson, and if they don't have a good game, if they don't turn up, so to speak, then Newcastle are lost. They're stuck. And it's a good comparison in many ways to show between Newcastle and Villa. You know, with Watkins out injured, there would have been a bit of fear. But they've got Ings, spent 25, 30 million on Ings. And, you know, it's showing that really this is why you need that squad depth. This is why you can't just rely on one or two players. You need players to come in at the same level to replace your best players. And at the moment, Newcastle don't really have that. And then the second goal, a bit harsh maybe, the penalty decision. Lascelles judged to have handled it, or what hits his arm. But that's what VAR is for, you know, and the ball's tucked away. And then Wilson, he's offside. You know, we're talking about giving the benefit of the doubt, but it didn't work for Wilson in this case. The lines were brought out, and you know he was offside, as Lee says there, by the letter of the law. It's unfortunate. That's now 4 VAR decisions to have gone against Newcastle in the opening 2 games. So already we're talking about VAR and how sick of it we are. But he was offside, and unfortunately, you know, you can't pin today on that VAR decision. You know, he was offside by the letter law, so penalty. It is no penalty, and Newcastle didn't offer anything really at all. Bit of frustration. St. Maximin walked straight down the tunnel, as did Joe Linton. Wilson and Richie went over to the fans, and as Lee said, the fans didn't turn on the side. But not a good start the season. Burnley midweek is going to be huge. Then Southampton on Saturday coming is going to be another huge game, and you have to say that Newcastle really need to get some points on the board because their running then starts to look a bit scary. In the meantime, do head over to chroniclelive.co.uk to keep up to date with all latest Newcastle United news, including all the reaction and fallout from today's game down at Villa Park, where Newcastle United lost 2-0 to Aston Villa.